bartender, please. I need a shot and I'm begging on my knees. The way to fight is one battle at a time. You may have won today, but I'll see you at the finish line. All is fair in love and war. You pull no brakes when you're riding to the core. All is fair in love and war. You best be aware, 'cause all is fair in love and war. If you can't stand the heat, don't come in the kitchen. Bring you pain is my new addiction. Been the other way around for far too long. Now you're gonna find out what it's like to be wronged. Well, all is fair in love and war. You pull no brakes when you're riding to the core. All is fair in love and war. You best be aware, 'cause all is fair in love and war. All is fair in love and war. Where you pull no brakes when you're riding to the core. Yeah, yeah. All is fair in love and war. You best be aware, 'cause all is fair. All is fair in love and war. You pull no brakes when you're riding to the core. Yeah. All is fair in love and war. You best be aware, 'cause all is fair in love and war.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Die Hard Series race. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for joining us here at the track Too Tough to Tame It is Darlington Speedway in South Carolina, and alongside me tonight, usually the other way around tonight, Sam Cooper Bennett. Sam, how you doing today?
I'm high on painkillers, so, you know.
And that's exactly why the broadcast is this way around.
Yeah, exactly. And, yeah, I'm still here. I'm excited for this one. It's going to be a great race. We've got 15 drivers, so a bit short of a field here tonight, but going to be good. And tonight's race obviously being brought to you by Summit Sim Racing. This is the Die Hard Racing League Grand National Series. Yeah, and yeah, we're at the Lady in Black. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, definitely. And these cars we know we've seen all season long in some of the other series that we broadcast here. These things are really difficult to handle. They are more than a handful for a lot of drivers, and this track is more than a handful for a lot of drivers. So not the greatest combination. If you're looking for a nice, easy, calm race, this one's certainly going to be a test.
Absolutely, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they can hold that narrow line at the top. I mean, there is literally only one groove up there, and it's definitely going to separate the cats from the pigeons, so to speak.
It definitely is. Some of the practice times coming through the board here as we still have about 2 minutes left in this practice session. Jeremy Johnston is at the top of the practice board at a 29.534. Dale Robertson sitting in second, not too far behind. He's only a half a tenth off at a 588. And actually, Nathan Rue just put in a qualifying lap. He was sitting third. He's now sitting first with a 29.137 as we get down into the dying embers of this practice session. I believe now 16, as I think that's late entry. Bobby Everhart has jumped into the room here this evening. So we're filling up here, still going to race time, Sam.
Yeah, Brad Spidle not making it tonight. He unfortunately his computer had very big issues, so he's not been able to make the call tonight. So Brad Spidle out of this one as well. We've got a couple of people out. It looks like Iger Broad not able to make it, so we've got some big names missing out here tonight, Frank.
The one that I'm seeing, the one that I've noticed right off the bat was Romig is not here tonight, and at number 21. So
yeah, he missed last week as well.
Yeah, and he had a pretty interesting race at Richmond. So it's been a while. It's been a little bit of a topsy-turvy couple of weeks for that number 21.
We've got one new name in the field. Jarek Brown making his debut this season in this race in the 0-2. Just brought it back to pit road. John Schulte's just hit the hit the wall. So Schulte in a bit of trouble there. As looking at Tim Marlowe making his way around. And Marcus Wilkie going a bit sideways. Even Nathan Rue's going a bit sideways on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, you're going to see that a lot here tonight as we get down to the final. We're going to see that a lot here tonight, especially as the run winds on. I've seen a lot of guys with right rear damage over the course of this race. Kevin Turkin has manually disconnected, so it might be just a quick reset of the internet before he comes back in. He didn't set the greatest time. He did set looking for it after it got shuffled up, a 30.733, which was third last, and here he is. He's back now. Is Kevin Turkin. We get set for qualifying. A 5-minute 2-lap session as per usual. Here with these guys, in the first car out on deck, it appears to be the 28 of Tim Marlowe.
Yeah, Jeremy Johnston was making his way out first, but decided to abandon that one. So we're going to stay with Tim Marlowe for the time being as he's making his way down the backstretch. Right behind him is Victor Jennings. Yeah, so we're going to pay attention to Tim Marlowe coming out of turn 2 now as... not just turn 4, sorry.
Used to be turn 2.
Yeah, it used to be. They've kind of pushed it around, but then again, this is one of the oldest tracks on the schedule. Is Marlowe going very high towards that wall there, Frank?
Yeah, he did clip it just a little bit. Again, this is what this track is known for. You're going to see it all night long. These guys clipping the wall, and there goes Marlowe sliding through turn 3 and 4, and he'll slide it right to a stop. As he'll still have one lap to try to get it done, but times are starting to come in as Dale Robertson goes to the point, and now he's replaced by Seth Schultz with a 29.084 in that number 27 Kodiak machine.
Yeah, and even Seth Schultz going a bit sideways through 1 and 2, and Schultz on the wall.
Yeah, that's a little bit more than just a bit sideways there. But provisional pole for him, and that was 7/10 quicker than the practice time he was able to put up. Only did a 7:03 in practice. And track position, especially at this track specifically, but track position is incredibly important. In these cars, it's magnified even more as Nathan Rue now takes the top spot.
And Nathan Rue at the top there is just making his way through in the Folgers machine. Even he nearly hit the wall just then.
It's going to be a lot of guys pushing here tonight. As only that's 22 thousandths of a second separating 1 and 2. Rue's second best time does not eclipse his first. So the front row is running 29 flats, and beyond that, you're a half a second clear to the rest of the field as Chuck Sweeting in third place right now at a 29.526. Dale Robertson with a 29.596. Then it's another 0.3. Alan Pajari at a 29.25. Gil Gaunt put in a 29.8. Tim Marlowe couldn't crack the 30-second bracket. Victor Jennings with a 32. Jarek Brown, the debutant here tonight, has his car in P9 right now at a 30.6. Marcus Wilkie, the slowest of the guys who have set a time. Guys who have not set a time yet, I believe that's John Schultz, who just put in a time. That number 17 Tide ride. Kevin Turkett putting in a time as well. Turkett going through turn 2 and smacking the wall. And that will put an end to his qualifying run here this evening. Randall Falks, Jeremy Johnston, Bruce Pearson, Bobby Everhart, and Corey Brown are the only guys to have not set a time. And just Corey Brown makes a liar out of me, puts his Coca-Cola Chevrolet up to P3, Sam.
Yeah, going up to P3. You are breaking up a little bit there. I'm not sure what's going on with your connection, but we did hear most of that. So, last week's winner run.
The gist of it.
Yeah, we know how bad the internet there is there in Long Island, so you know.
Yeah, but
it is what it
doesn't help that a hurricane just went through here. So.
Well, yeah. Last week's winner, Randall Folks, out on track now to put his time in there, Frank.
Yes.
And he smacks the wall.
Yeah, we've seen that this entire qualifying session, and Randall Folks no different. Only 4 drivers in this field, Folks being one of them, have yet to set a time, and with only 15 seconds left in the session, I don't think they're going to. As the grid seems pretty well set here tonight at Darlington, it'll be Nathan Rue, Seth Schultz, Corey Brown, Chuck Sweeting, and Dale Robertson making up the top 5. Alan Pajari, Gil Gauck, Tim Marlowe, Kevin Turkett, and Victor Jennings rounding out the top 10, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. As we will go to the grid, or was that you calling the grid just then? I don't know.
Well, that was me calling the grid, but it's fine.
Okay. And I can call it out. 1 second now.
You're at P11 there.
Yeah, I know. I'm just a bit behind.
Now
Solpadol is a wonderful drug. Just let me just say that.
I was going to say, this is what happens when one of your broadcasts is in a little bit of a haze.
P11 is Jarrett Brown. Coming up in P12 is starting P12 is John Schulte. 13th will be Marcus Wilkie. 14th will be last week's winner, Randall Folks. 15th going to Jeremy Johnston. 16th on the grid going to Bobby Everhart, and Bruce Pearson will be starting 17th and shotgun on the filter. 17 drivers set to take the green here, Frank.
Yeah, that was a lot more than when, I mean, I got in just about 2 minutes before we went on air because I thought the race was an hour later than it actually was. There were only 13 in here, so we managed to sneak a couple extra drivers in right before we went to, right before we got to the race. From what I can see, Corey Brown, oh, there we go. And now I'm assuming Tim Marlowe, I think, is the only driver that has not gridded up yet. Marcus Wilkie, you're right. So we're waiting on 2 drivers here to grid up. There's Wilkie and there's Marlowe. So we're going to get set to bring you nonstop coverage, 110 laps around the track, Too Tough to Tame, here in the 1987 cars for the Die Hard Racing Series. This is what I believe round 7, no?
Round 5.
Round 5. Oh wow. Okay. Round 5. You see what happens? You miss a week, and it's like you missed 3.
Yeah, I know.
So
we're halfway through season 1, so next week I believe is next week we're off to Watkins Glen. So.
Oh, that one's gonna be a very interesting one. I know the Throwback Series on Saturday night, they're at Talladega this week in these cars, so that'll be a fun one. As the cars now pacing coming out of quarter number 2 and down what used to be the front straightaway at the time where these cars would have been racing, going into turn 3, passing the Earnhardt Towers, right at the entrance to turn 3. That is the 25 of Nathan Rue on the inside, the 27 of Seth Schultz on the outside. The number 25 Rue is the control car, bringing us onto the front straightaway, and we are green here at Darlington Raceway, and what a getaway from both drivers on the front row.
Yeah, and you see them making their way into turns 1 and 2 there. Rue got the lead away. Great start by Chuck Sweeting, managing to get ahead of Corey Brown going into turn 1. And what about Dale Robertson there, just sticking there behind the 99? But watch out for Corey Brown. He may have had a slow start, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be at the front at some point during this race.
I think we dubbed him the Energizer Bunny after Richmond, as there's a car sliding in the back there. That was Alan Pajari, who got loose in the middle of turns 3 and 4, still trying to find a place to slot back on track, and he will find that place behind Jeremy Johnston in the 75. Just a quick little slide for Pajari, nothing more than a minor heart attack. As back up front, Nathan Rue and Seth Schultz going at it, and Chuck Sweeting and the Energizer Bunny, Corey Brown, is not that far behind, Sam.
Yeah, that paint scheme on Corey Brown's car, a bit different this week. This one was a repaint made by our very own Mr. Tony Trapasso, as you can see by the ESPN logo on the rear of the car. So Tony's been a bit busy with some of these drivers' paints here this past week.
Yeah, that and Tony noticeably not with us here tonight. I believe he was telling us last night, I believe he had a surgery on his leg to remove pins in his leg from a motorcycle accident from over a year ago. So we're wishing Tony well. Shame he couldn't be here tonight, but more than an understandable reason, as that 99 is all over Sweeting in the 54, and Sweeting finally just lets him have it.
Yeah, it looks like Sweeting actually made a mistake out of turn.
Oh, there's the 99 on the wall.
Oh, just about, but going back to Chuck Sweeting, it looks like he made a mistake coming out of turn 2, and that's what cost him that third spot, and Corey was happy to take it. But Corey, like you said, hit the wall just down, didn't make as much of a mistake as Sweeting did, just so he stays ahead. Robertson in P5 and Marlowe up to P6. He's having a good run tonight, and Gilgog back there in P7, and then you got a 3-second gap back to last week's winner. Randall Fox is just ahead of Kevin Turcotte.
Turcotte had a nightmare week last week at Michigan, just mistake after mistake piling up for that 84, looking for a redemption race this week. He's already up 1 position from his starting spot. as last week's winner, Randall Fault, again, who started 14th on the grid tonight after hitting the wall in qualifying, which you saw, sitting there in P8. Tim Marlowe has moved from P8 to P6. Other than that, the top 5 all right where they qualified, and still a very close battle up for the point. It is Nathan Rue and Seth Schultz. Schultz and just trying to find
around
a
in the
line.
background is Jarrett Brown in trouble. Sorry to cut you off there. Frank McCaution will be coming out. Jarrett Brown losing it on the exit of turn 4, and didn't hit anything, but it was good enough to bring out the first caution of the night.
He's looking at this replay. Oh, he got loose in the middle of the corner, came back up, smacked the right side of the wall, and that's kind of what threw him off, and just a little bit of a nudge off of that turn 4 wall for the Die Hard Racing Series debutant here tonight, Jarek Brown, driving that number 02 Purolator. That's a Derek Cope throwback, or homage, if you will, in that 02. So the caution flag comes out just 7 laps into this 110 lap event here tonight, and first run, a lot of good racing. It was spread out, but a lot of good racing just in that first run there, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely. As Nathan Rue holding on to the lead just before that caution came out. Seth Schultz in second place. We've got Jeremy Johnston coming down pit road right now. So he's going to be the first one to take his trip down pit road. I'm guessing they've only got 3 sets of tyres, just like they do usually on the cookie cutters.
Yeah, so they have the tire limit for this race is 4, so I'm assuming that's the tires that they're on plus 3 more.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And another thing to keep in mind here is I'm looking through the race info and the track conditions. Marbles and dust left on track. Now that could wreak havoc a little bit later on in this race, Sam.
Yeah, it could, and people could have problems with that. I mean, we've seen the front runners have problems with that before. Obviously, Rue's had problems in the past with marbles. Remember what happened at Richmond? Yep.
So it will definitely come into play a little bit later on here this evening, as you'd say marbles, as David Hobbs used to call it for the U.S. Formula One broadcast feed, clag up there at the top of the track. It almost gives you that sensation of a flat tire if you run through it too much. You'd think picking up a little extra rubber would actually be beneficial. Trust us, it is not. As we continue under caution here. So just to reset the field here really quick, Nathan Rue leading, as he did from the start. Seth Schultz, Corey Brown, Chuck Sweeting, Dale Robertson rounding out the top 5. Tim Marlowe, Gil Gawk, Randall Faults, Kevin Turkett, and Alan Pajari, after his first lap incident, is back up into the top 10. Follow that up with Bruce Jennings. Wow. Okay, Victor Jennings, Bruce Pearson. That's what I was meaning to say.
You confused him with Bruce Jenner, right?
No, I was looking. No, because like I said, Victor Jennings and Bruce Pearson, they're running 11th and 12th, so I just kind of combined the two into one. I guess that would be P11 and a half, maybe. I'm not sure. John Schultz behind him, Marcus Wilkie, Derek Brown, Bobby Everhart, and Jeremy Johnston rounding out back of this field. As a matter of Bobby Everhart coming out of the pits. So he will be behind Jeremy Johnston.
Jarrett Brown is still in the pits repairing that damage on his car as he starts moving right now. So he's noticed that the lead pack is coming around, so he really needs to get himself going. He is coming out of pit road right there. You see him on the bottom of your screen. I'm not sure if he beat the pace car out of pit road, though. I don't think he did, you know.
I've been on replay that whole time, so I think, you know what? I don't believe so. Yeah, no, he certainly didn't beat the pace car out. And that's a strategy and a tactic that you could use. Try to fix as much damage as you possibly can and try to beat that pace car out. And I believe it's an end-of-the-line penalty if you don't beat the pace car out. So he was going to be at the end of the line anyway, if that were the case. But the pace car is peeling off. I'd be interested to see if Seth Schultz gets the same restart that he got at the initial start. He was right on Nathan Rue. And here we go once again, back to green flag racing here at Darlington. Rue gets a better start, and immediately Seth Schultz under fire from the 99.
Yeah, Schultz almost under fire. Brown just backing off ever so slightly now. And it's fallen into the clutches of Sweeting and Robertson. Just got a message from Brian Bennett. It says, good luck, boys, on vacation this week. So, hope you're enjoying your vacation. Brian, hoping to see you back in that Wrangler number 3 soon.
Definitely. It's not right seeing these cars racing around the circuit without seeing a number 3 out there, is it?
Well, there's not even a 43 out there at the moment, so, you know.
That's fair is fair. As we look up at the front of this field here, Nathan Rue, Seth Schultz, Corey Brown, Chuck Sweeting, and Dale Robertson all in your screen there. That is the top 5. As we continue on, green flag racing here, 13 laps down. And if my maths are correct, I believe that's 97 to go.
Something like that, yeah.
Anyway.
Like I said, Solpadol is a wonderful drug. Anyway.
And I'm kind of questioning which one of us is on it right now.
It's me. I'll put you out of your misery. It's me.
As we had mentioned it before, another big mover, the biggest mover of the race so far, Randall Falks. Last week's winner in Michigan, he started in 14th. We highlighted him back when he was running in P9. He's up to 6th place, having just passed Marlowe, and he has left Marlowe for a bag of chips, and he is now on the prowl, looking for the back end of that number 5 Kellogg's machine of Dale Robertson.
Yeah, Robertson only he's just under a second up the road from Falks, so the gap definitely coming down between the 5 and the 51. Falks looking for a bit of redemption, as you already mentioned there, Frank, after a poor qualifying, so he's going to have to really put his foot down. I should think if and when he does get past Dale Robertson, he's going to get a damn sight tougher to get past these 4. I mean, Chuck Sweeting, your points leader coming into tonight, he's in P4. Then you got Mr. Energizer Bunny himself, Mr. Corey Brown, and then the usual suspects at the front, Nathan Rue and Seth Schultz. They are going to be extra difficult to pass. It looks like Rue starting to put a gap on Seth Schultz now.
It's not much, but it is a gap nonetheless, about 0.2 separating the 25 and the 27. Corey Brown and Chuck Sweeting are right on the back end of that 27, as it looks like now the 99 of Corey Brown swings to the inside, repays the favor, and allows Chuck Sweeting to go through for 3rd place.
So the Coca-Cola number 9 being a bit kind and courteous right now, probably just dropping back a little bit there to save a bit of tires, but that car does not look planted as they came out of turn 2 there. And look who's right behind him now. Randall Falks has got around Dale Robertson and is now starting to reel in that 99 Coca-Cola machine.
And once again, just leaving a cloud of past race cars in his wake. He's already up 9 positions from his race start, so that 51 is on the hunt. He's got 1.2 seconds up to Corey Brown, who has now fallen off of this trio. Up at the front, and look at Seth Schultz. He's going for the lead on Nathan Rue as they head into turn 3.
Yeah, going behind that, going below that dashed white line, almost ended its tears, had to back out of it, those tires, as we went on board with him there, just absolutely screaming for help. And there goes Chuck Sweeting up to second place, capitalizing on that little mistake there by Schultz. And now Sweeting on the back of Rue as they come out of turn 4, and they're coming up on Marcus Wilkie to put a lap on him now.
Yeah, Wilkie getting out of the way. Now, it's not against the rules like it would be at Daytona or Talladega to go under that white dashed line. You see it all the time in the real life Cup races here at Darlington. It's just really, especially here in the sim, it is not preferred to be going down there. And Seth Schultz doing the right thing, going into one, allowing Chuck Sweeting to get through. There really is only one lane in on these corners. Going through the middle and out is a little bit of a different story. But going in, there's one line, and there goes the 51 in the background. Randall Fawkes spinning off, doing the same exact thing we saw earlier from the 0-2 of Jarek Brown. I'm sorry, from not Jarek Brown, Alan Pajari. And he'll slot in line in 7th behind Tim Marlowe in the 28.
Some significant damage on the right side of that Exxon number 51. Gonna have to really pit farm that thing now if it's the amount of damage. I always think it's in the wall again. He's broken something on that car.
There's a battle for the lead here as well as we're going through that. Is Chuck Sweeting not showing the same courtesy that Seth Schultz did, sticking it right to the inside, going into turn 1, trying to take the lead away from Nathan Rue as they head out of turn 2. Rue just nearly gets into the wall. Sweeting is still there in that number 54. He is going to take the lead. Can he clear Schultz, though? Rue is going to have the run on exit, is going to be able to maintain. And now Chuck Sweeting, after about a lap and a half's worth of battling, is going to slot back in line in P2 as Nathan Rue is led from pillar to post so far.
Randall Fawkes is out of the race. He's pulled it to one side and he has retired. So that good run coming to absolutely nothing in the end there, Frank.
And that's really unfortunate. He was just as quick, if not quicker, than what is now a quartet up here at the front. As here comes Chuck Sweeting yet again. He's got that rear corner of the 25. He's going to stick it down to the inside of Nathan Rue. Still doesn't have him cleared, but Rue definitely has the advantages. He's got that car wound up on the outside. He's going to clear him off of turn 2, Sam.
Absolutely, and Sweeting now falling back into the clutches of Schultz. You don't want to do that. Schultz, as he's already proved this season, a very dangerous driver. Not in a bad way, in a good way.
Oh, prolific driver, I think.
Yeah.
Probably more
He's
apropos.
Yeah.
So Nathan Rue, and after that little battle, Sweeting fell off a little bit, but he is right back on the back bumper of that number 25 as he's now leaving the 27 and the 99 behind him. Again, it's just a matter of you have to get that run coming off the corner and on the inside line. You would think the inside line being the shortest way around would be the way to do it, but it's really not, especially in these cars and in this sim. You see it all the time. The outside line, 9 times out of 10, is going to prevail. And we're seeing it. We're seeing that play out right here, Sam.
Yeah, Sweeting still holding station behind Nathan Rue. Seth Schultz still sticking in 3rd place. Corey Brown being the patient one at the moment, just sitting back and watching this going on between the 27, the 54, and the 25. As they're coming up to Marcus Wilkie again. No, that's not Marcus Wilkie, that's Bobby Everhart they're coming to put a lap on now.
And just a little bit further back, that number 85 of Gil Gawk has gotten around the 28 of Tim Marlowe, and he's going to set his sights on Dale Robertson, who's in a nice little cushion right now. He's got about 2 seconds to the car in front and about just as much now to the 85 of Gil Gawk. So Robertson just kind of holding post where he is right now in 5th. It actually looks like he's got front end damage on that 5 if my screen was showing me right. Yeah, he does on that right front. So he's gotten in the wall somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, You haven't lived and you haven't been to Darlington properly unless you've got your Darlington stripe, and
Exactly.
gonna see a few drivers with that on the car, and obviously Dale Robertson has that now, so he can tick that off his list at least.
Exactly, as they're coming, as the leaders back up to the front here, with Nathan Rue and Chuck Sweeting coming up on Jarek Brown in the 0-2. And Brown pulls out of the way, politely as you like, especially for a debutant. Don't want to ruffle any feathers in your first race. As this battle for the lead here it's still going on. There may not be continuous action, but these three have been line astern this entire run since we've gone back green, Sam.
Yeah, as we Sweeting in the wall. That's gonna hurt him. Can Schultz capitalize? No, he can't.
No, that's the problem with this track. It's so narrow that if something were to happen like that, you can't just turn it down and go straight to the bottom when the bottom is only half a lane below where you actually are. It's a very narrow track to be able to capitalize on a mistake like that.
Absolutely, as they... Schultz at the wall! Oh, he saved it. Good save, but that's going to be some damage on that 27 now.
That's the third time we've seen cars fly off of the wall like that.
Marlowe into the wall in the background. And I'm thinking as the tyres wear down, it's going to be a lot more difficult to keep the cars off the wall. As we're going to look at Alan Pajari, he keeps it off the wall, but wow, things have taken a bit of a turn in this lap and a half now. Yeah,
that's the third time we've seen that cars coming off of the wall in that fashion. We saw, again, you mentioned Alan Pajari. We saw him come off the wall that way. Randall Falks coming off the wall. Seth Schultz doing the same thing. So it's looking like a trend. You really do not want to get into the wall in these cars because it's going to give you a very heart and throat moment, as this trio now is kind of turned into a pair up front, as Chuck Sweeting just refusing to let Nathan Rue go and get out too far.
Yeah, I mean, when Chuck Sweeting got into the wall, he only scraped it. It wasn't actually that bad, so he's been able to carry on as normal, whereas Seth Schultz, he literally buried that right front into the wall.
One guy who has moved up through the field, just looking through timing and scoring right now, is the 75 of Jeremy Johnston, having started in 15th place, pit under that last caution period. He has now moved his way up to the 8th position after not putting in a qualifying time and starting in 15th. So that number 75 Neil Bonnet homage is starting to work its way up towards the front. Alan Pajari in the 34, sitting 11 seconds behind the 6th place man, Tim Marlowe, who's coming off of turn 4 and crossing the start-finish line now. And he is not that far behind Gil Gawk for the top 5 spot. As I was looking, Dale Robertson, I was looking as to why I was missing somebody in timing and scoring. Dale Robertson's in the pits.
Yeah, and he's 3 laps down now, so he must have hit that wall even harder, and you can tell by the undulation of the car on the right-hand side, he has hit the wall very hard. So that car is not going anywhere anytime soon. He's been in pit road for over 2 minutes now. As yeah, that's a tough job there for Dale Robertson, and another retirement there for one of the front runners.
Yeah, and I just saw what happened. He had hit the wall in the middle, going into one, like right where you would start to wash up the track. He had hit the wall there going into one, and then he just pounded it coming off of turn 2. So that's why the 5 is in pit lane right now.
Yeah, he did it exactly when I mentioned when Tim Marlowe hit the wall. He did it exactly the same time.
Yeah, that's what comes. We mentioned right at the top of the broadcast, these are difficult cars to handle at a difficult racetrack to drive. So it will catch a lot of people out, and we've seen that already here tonight.
And you mentioned Jeremy Johnson making his way up front. I will point out he is on fresher tyres than everybody ahead of him.
Yes, he is.
So he will be faster. Me and Tony pointed something out last week, that we've got a battle of the lubricants going on in this one here in this season. We've got Valvoline, which is on Johnston's car, versus Haviline on Marlowe's car.
Yeah.
So,
certainly.
you know, two of the most famous oil companies to come out of the US. So
Yeah, and it's two of the more famous oil companies that have continued to battle on track for years and years and years. It has not been that way for the last couple of years, but hopefully one of those two will come back into the sport without a doubt.
well, Valvoline's got more involvement in its history. It's had more involvement. Actually, both Valvoline and Haviline have had more involvement in IndyCar in the past.
Yes.
Haviline with Newman Haas, and Valvoline with I think it was Alan Unser Jr.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, it was one of the answers. I would have to. I assume that's. I think that's right. If I.
Although Unser did racing in NASCAR as well, so
Yes. Yeah, but if I dig back into my memory bank, I do believe that's right.
Oh, big damage on the front of Corey Brown's car. He's hit the wall somewhere.
And he's certainly, as these guys have put 42 laps now as they cross the line here. They've put 42 laps on these tires, so these things are going to start really pushing and really difficult to handle around here. Just to look at Corey Brown from the start of the race, his best lap was on lap 2. They've only dropped off about a second. If I'm looking at this right now, there were a couple of laps where he was about a second and a half off of what his best lap was. But these cars really have not fallen off too much, but the handling is certainly going away, as we're seeing that resulting in a lot of guys hitting the wall.
Yeah, we just had a couple of takers down pit road. Victor Jennings and Alan Pajari making it down pit road just down there. Actually, they are still in pit road. There is Pajari and there is Jennings. But while you were talking about Corey Brown there, battle lines have been redrawn between Nathan Rue and Chuck Sweeting. Sweeting all over the rear bumper of that 25 Folgers machine as they make their way into turn 1. And Sweeting is looking for a gap there, and I'm guessing if he has to force one, he will, I suppose.
Yeah, and that 54 and 25 have been absolutely inseparable since Chuck Sweeting has gotten out into second place. Corey Brown has fallen off. He's only about 7/10 behind. Then the guy who has been the big surprise, that wall hit must have done something to Seth Schultz, because he has fallen off. He's 2.2 seconds behind Nathan Rue in the lead, and about a second and a half behind Corey Brown, who's his next car 4 position. So that hit certainly did something to the 27, who was right up there with these guys prior to that incident.
Mr. Jennings is coming down the pit road there, right in front of Schultz there. That was must have been a bit scary for the 27, as we've got Kevin Turcotte making his way out of pit road. He was the most recent person down pit road, but we're waiting for the leaders to start making their way down. And we're very quickly approaching halfway in this race now, Frank.
It has been a very quick race. We had that caution on lap 7, but beyond that, it's been a very clean race, as this front pair now passing the 71 of Bobby Everhart, who goes yet another lap down. Only the top 7 drivers in this race remain on the lead lap, and then is Jeremy Johnston, who is the last car on the lead lap. Now, mind you, there is a pit cycle that is going on here. So that is a little bit skewed, but other than that, only the top 7 remain on the lead lap. And if a caution were to come out now, that spells bad news for a lot of guys.
Yeah, no wave arounds or lucky dogs, so they will be trapped a lap down regardless of what argument they have towards it. I mean, this league does conform to the classic NASCAR rules, so the only like I say this every week, the only classic NASCAR rule they don't conform to is the fact that they count the caution laps. So.
Yes. As Bruce Pearson making his way into pit lane as the 25 of Nathan Rue gives that wall a little bit of a kiss in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Keeps his lead, though. It's grown now to about 3/10 over Chuck Sweeting, and he's coming up on Jeremy Johnston, who he's about to lap on track and not in the pit cycle.
Yeah, Johnston are fresher tyres than these guys, so I'm very surprised that they're coming up to put a lap on him here. I mean, Johnston did pit under that last caution, so that maybe is showing the signs of age now. So
that you do also have to think, how hard has Johnston been pushing those tires? He's making pass after pass after pass to get up to the position that he is in. Meanwhile, these two, while they have been squabbling with each other, they really have not been putting too much stress. As now
here we go.
The 54 of Chuck Sweeting trying to use that lap car of Johnson as a pick, and he timed that move perfectly, but still that outside line has the advantage as he keeps the car wound up. But a great idea, at least from Chuck Sweeting, to try to use that lap car as a pick.
It's not
and
over.
Try to take the lead from it.
Not over by a long shot.
The battle is over for the moment as we see Johnston get into the wall, peels away from in front of the leaders.
I was about to say, Jeremy Johnston's the only one of the few that actually hasn't hit the wall yet, as caution is out. Bobby Everhart in trouble.
Bobby Everhart 2 laps down at this stage, rolling slowly.
Oh, it was Everhart and Gork actually.
Oh yeah, it was. I just gotten to it as Everhart hits the wall, throws him out, and Gawk, just a complete victim there, had nowhere to go, and that will unfortunately spell the end of a top 5 run for the number 85.
Yeah, unfortunately, and Gawk was actually still on the lead lap as well. And you mentioned that the top 6 staying out. And I think you tempted fate there, Frank, because the caution came out and 7th on back, they're all a lap down.
Well, you can use the commentator's curse for good, and you could use it for evil, and it just depends on what side of the aisle you're on when it comes out. But it's the top 4 make their way into the pits, led by the 25 of Nathan Rue, who has led from, as I mentioned before, he's led from pillar to post so far here this evening. This pit stop's now playing out.
They're going to take 4 at this point. They've got to. They're about halfway. Yeah, they're about halfway into the race now. So
I believe as they cross the line here next time, they're going to be starting lap 55. So that would be halfway. Nathan Rue wins the race off pit road. There is the 54 of Chuck Sweeting. Seth Schultz jumps the 99, who is going to sit in pit road to fix some of that aforementioned damage that he had. And Tim Marlowe in the back of the pits as well. I believe he is going to hang out to fix some damage as well.
Jarrett Brown on the hauler now. His debut not going as it planned. So, unfortunately, getting a beat on traffic already.
Yes. As he is, I believe that would be the 3rd retirement, yes, as Robertson hasn't officially called it quits, but he's still sitting in pit lane. 21 laps down.
If I remember back to Richmond or somewhere like that, Robertson did stay in pit road for a very long amount of time and did reintroduce himself back into the race later on, just to make sure he got to the end.
Yeah, so he is not officially done for the evening. Only 2 cars, we got a couple of more in the back there on pit road. Dale Robertson on pit road, Gil Gawk on pit road, Marcus Wilkie coming out of pit road.
Unfortunately, I think. Sorry to keep cutting you off, Frank.
Okay.
But I've got to think that Gil Gawk's night might be done here, because he did hit Everhart very hard there, and that car was not looking good when he was trying to make it back to pit road as John Schulte in pit road.
Yeah, and that is, you're 100% right. It's just an unfortunate situation for Gawk. Was running in 5th.
And there it is.
When that accident, and yep, Gil Gawk is now officially out of this race. So we do have 3 official retirements here tonight. Gil Gawk, the most recent, Jarek Brown, and then Randall Fawkes, who called it quits about this point probably 34 laps ago. Dale Robertson still sitting in pit road after his incident, so he is still in the fight in some respects. Every point counts as we go through this season, and that's what he's taking to heart here, as Kevin Turkett will get a wave around. I believe that will put him back on the lead lap.
That will, and I'm very surprised that Schulte hasn't been given a wave around yet, because he's well, Pajari's...
If he was, if they do have the lucky dog, and this is kind of, we really should get a definitive answer. Jeremy Johnston gets a wave around. But Johnston was in front of the lead pack, though.
That might come back to haunt him.
That was one thing that we had mentioned, just talking with the guys at the end of, I believe it was Richmond. They want to get the lead lap cars, the tail end of the lead lap cars, out from in front of the leaders. So they are going to wave those cars around to the back. So Johnston, who would have been at the tail end of the lead lap and in true 1980s NASCAR fashion, would have been starting in front of the 25. Instead, they've elected to wave him around, and he will start at the back on the lead lap of the outside line, which is why that took place.
Yeah, I believe we had that issue a couple of weeks ago with Mark Eichelbrod starting right in front of the leaders. Actually, no, it was Bruce Pearson, I think it was.
I think so.
Pace cars off as they make their way out of turn 4. Victor Jennings on the inside. These cars on the inside are lap cars, so they won't be a factor as Rue not wasting any time here. Back to green flag racing on lap 58 here. We are officially past halfway now, Frank.
Yes, we are, as the battle will continue up between these two, as Seth Schultz has fallen off the front two. Alan Pajari acting as a bit of a pick for Corey Brown, who will finally get around the number 34 of Pajari.
And that was a bad start for Brown. That was a very bad start for Brown, restart for Brown.
And we've been calling him the Energizer Bunny, and that was after the wonderful interview that he did at Richmond after he finished, I believe it was second he had finished at Richmond.
Oh, he won that race.
Oh, he did. Oh, that is 100% right. He did win that race. Certainly, we call him the Energizer Bunny, obviously, for his high energy and just his likable personality, but certainly will not mistake that moniker with his restarts, as he all season long has been struggling on those restarts, and it's got him into a little bit of trouble here, already 3 seconds behind the lead pair off of that restart.
Yeah, so bit of trouble there for Corey Brown. He's started to reel in Seth Schultz now, so no problems there. Schultz is still struggling, it looks like.
Yes, he is. And I've noticed we were a little premature in saying we had 3 retirements. We only have 2, as Jarek Brown has returned, has gotten it to turn 2, and has towed it back to the pit lane.
So he's about to retire again.
We might have 3 retirements still. Up front, Nathan Rue leading Chuck Sweeting. Lead has now gone to a half a second.
Yeah, I was going to say by half a second. So Sweeting taking it easy this time round. Just not really going to push the issue. I mean, we've still got plenty of racing left to go. Just under 50 laps left in this one now.
So one is definitely right there. So Sweeting, he had to have made a mistake because he is now coming back. He has cut that down by about 1/10.5, that lead, and these two have gone and left both the 27 and the 99, who currently occupy the 3rd and 4th positions. Tim Marlowe in the 28, running in top 5 position, currently in 5th. Jeremy Johnston, who we had mentioned getting the wave around, would have been the tail end of the lead lap car, is now running in 6th position, and the last car on the lead lap. So John Schultz, who is actually, I believe he may have made contact with the wall. Did Schultz? Oh yes, he did.
Yeah, I heard a big bang there. Let's take a look and see what happened. And yeah, Schultz smacked the wall hard.
We're just about to say that Schultz and Turkett were the only 2 1 lap down. It's Turkett now running in 7th. Schultz still running around here. He's not made a pit stop, so he is still 1 lap down. Alan Pajari and Bobby Everhart 2 laps down and rounding out the top 10. Bruce Pearson 3 laps down in the number 20. Victor Jennings, Marcus Wilkie are both 4 laps down, running 12th and 13th here this evening. As Jarek Brown, you might have been wrong there, Sam. He is back out and trundling along in that number 02 Purolator Ford.
Albeit 16 laps down now, but obviously he's trying to get to the end of his first race, and you can't fault him for that one. But if any more drivers fall by the wayside, he will pick up those spots. Same for Dale Robertson, should he come back out of pit road, but it doesn't look likely at the moment. As now look at the lead battle there, Frank. We got Chuck Sweeting right on the back of Nathan Rue once again.
They have been line astern for a good 50 laps at this point. These two have been absolutely inseparable, as Nathan Rue, again, has led every single lap so far in this race. Chuck Sweeting trying to take it. He's on the outside now. Can he get the run? He cannot. Might have scraped the wall coming out of turn 4, but beyond that, he almost had the line that he needed to get around the 25.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It doesn't matter if you've got a faster car. You need to pick your lines carefully, and with how narrow this track is, and people are going to think, why are you saying it's narrow when it looks really wide out there? Well, that dash line, as here comes Sweeting again to the inside. Drag race towards turn 1 here. Sweeting going to try and dive it to the inside here. And going back to my story there, is Sweeting still challenging for the lead. People are going to ask, why are you saying this track is so narrow? Because it looks really wide out there. Well, you see that dash line as they go for the corners. They must stay above that. I mean, you don't have to stay above it. Oh, they're over the wall! Oh, that's going to hurt him.
There might have been some contact on their way into turn 3. But no matter if there was a little bit of a door slam there might have been.
That looked like netcode from my angle.
Yeah, that's. I would agree with that it was netcode.
Oh, and Sweeting almost into the wall, coming through 3 and 4.
But in any event, there it is. For the first time this race, we have a new leader. It's Chuck Sweeting, and we could see how fast that number 54 Jersey's car really is, as he has been right behind the leader, right behind Rue all race long. Now let's see if he can run away with it.
Yeah, Chuck Sweeting has been unleashed now since Rue hit that wall. So he's already half a second up the road. Is he, like I said, is he going to try and maintain it? The answer is no, because Rue already starting to try and reel him in there now.
And let's see the times as they cross the line. Chuck Sweeting 1.129 seconds quicker on that lap than Nathan Rue, and now he's going to have to deal with the 71 of Bobby Everhart on the inside. Everhart now going 4 laps down. But also something else catching my eye. Look who's starting to get into this battle here. It's the 27 of Seth Schultz, and he is, whether he's meaning to or not, is bringing that 99 of Corey Brown in with him.
Yeah, Corey Brown. He's still got that damage on the right front of his car, and that's probably what's hampering him right now.
Yeah,
he's been
a second that last lap. It was 2 seconds. It's now 1.5. That's to the lead.
And whether he likes it or not, he's going to be dragged into this battle, kicking and screaming. John Schulte in pit road. We were expecting that after the way he hit the wall just then. So he is getting some extensive damage repaired as Sweeting still not able to get away here, Frank.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing that happened with Rue. Is when Rue was able to get away about a half a second, Sweeting was able to close it right up. But this has been the biggest sustained gap that we have seen for the lead here this evening, as Sweeting still 0.4 seconds ahead, and has actually grown that now to a little bit more than a half a second ahead of Nathan Rue. Schultz is now getting into the battle. He's a half a second behind Rue, and about a half a second behind him is Corey Brown. So throw a blanket, a second and a half separating the top 4, and then you have to go back another 13 seconds coming out of turn 2 now, back to Tim Marlowe, who's the back end of the top 5.
Yeah, and Marlowe himself a good 3 seconds ahead of Jeremy Johnston, who's pretty much in no man's land. In P6, he's a full lap ahead of P7. That's Kevin Turcotte. So Johnston pretty much has P6 locked down right now.
Turcotte, the only car 1 lap down in that number 84, running in 7th position. Alan Pajari 2 laps down in 8th. As the battle for the lead here is starting to turn into a runaway, as Chuck Sweeting now has gotten into that rhythm, being out in front. This is the biggest lead we have seen we've seen out of either leader between Sweeting and Rue. This is the biggest one of the night, and Sweeting is continuing to build it.
Yeah, and Rue falling into the clutches of Seth Schultz as well. So this Rue driving a wounded car right now, but then again, so is Seth Schultz and so is Corey Brown. So they're kind of cancelling each other out right now.
And that coming off of the, I don't know if you want, again, I don't know if you want to chalk that up to net code, if you want to chalk that up to a little bit of a door bump between the 54 and the 25, but that damage has certainly changed the race, and you can see it start to form. We mentioned the marbles going through these corners. Look up on that outside by the wall, going into turn 1 and coming out of 2 and going into 3. There's starting to be some little black specks on the racetrack, so you really do not want to get out of line into there.
Absolutely not. And look at this battle for second place now, really bunching up now between Rue Schultz and Corey Brown. Brown is right there, Schultz is right there, and Rue is trying to hold on to that car. That right front is really crinkled up right now. Looks like Schultz may have got all the repairs done on his car, because his car looks a lot more straight than it did.
Brown got
here we go.
Yeah, Brown had gotten one heck of a run, and he's going to complete the pass for P3 with relative ease as he'll get around Seth Schultz in the 27. Chuck Sweeting has pulled that lead out to a 2.5 now over Nathan Rue. As now it's a 3-car battle, not for the lead, but for second, as I believe all of them might have kissed the wall there coming off of turn 4. About a synchronized slide there for all 3 of them.
Bit of a case of follow the leader, and I believe Nathan Rue is the Pied Piper.
And that tends to happen. Typically, when you're just watching the car in front of you and trying to run his line to try to catch him, if he makes a mistake, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be making the same mistake because you're following the same path as him. But Corey Brown now.
He's found some speed in that car.
Yes, he has. I was just about to say, he has sprung free of Seth Schultz, and he is now on the charge, is right back up to the back end of Nathan Rue in that 25, and is about to start putting the pressure on. Just under 30 laps to go here at Darlington Raceway, Darlington, South Carolina. Chuck Sweeting leading from Nathan Rue, Corey Brown, Seth Schultz, Tim Marlowe, the top 5. Jeremy Johnston is sitting in 6th, rounding out the lead lap cars. Only 3 retirements this evening. It'll be 2 retirements this evening. Gil Gawk in the 85 after an incident involving himself and I believe it was Marcus Wilkie, yes?
Dale Robertson?
No.
Gil Gawk?
Yes.
Oh, no, it was Bobby Everhart.
Sorry, yes, you're right. With the incident involving Bobby Everhart and then Randall Falks.
Last week's winner.
Self-inflicted injury.
Big hit for the Corey Brown!
And that'll cause a caution.
Oh, no. And that is not what you want to see.
Now, talk about self-inflicted injuries. It's exactly what that was from Corey Brown. May not have been the quickest car on track on that run, but he was certainly better than the cars around him. As we'll try to see what happened there with him.
Yeah, he just came out of turn, I believe it was turn 2. He got the line right on the entrance. It's just the exit that he got it all wrong.
Just pushed a little too hard on exit, and that wall in old turn 4, new turn to current turn 2 is that thing comes up on you quick, especially in these cars. And if you've driven these cars in this sim, you know they like to push, and they like to push a lot. As the top 3 hit road, this group here should still have 2 sets of tires left to change onto as we cross the line, coming to 25 laps to go here at Darlington.
Bold,
Jennings in pit lane as well.
Very bold move for Tim Marlowe, deciding to stay out. Same for Jeremy Johnston.
I believe that would be Marlowe trying to lead a lap. That would be my assumption there as to what was going on. The battle off pit road, though, is going to be interesting as these guys still changing tires. The battle is going to be won by Chuck Sweeting.
Bruce staying in pit road to repair some damage. Same for Corey Brown, it seems. Well, Corey Brown doesn't really have a choice in this matter.
And that will promote Seth Schultz up to second position. Well, effective second position if Tim Marlowe and Jeremy Johnston are doing what we assume they would do.
And they are.
And they are. So Tim Marlowe stays out to lead a lap. The 75 of Johnston going side by side with him right now, actually passing him on pit road.
Yeah, it looked like Jarrett Brown was just holding a bunch of people up there in pit road, going very slowly. So, unfortunate there for... well, it wouldn't hurt him too much, actually, as
should only lose one spot if he does lose the spot at all.
Corey Brown got out of pit road ahead of Nathan Ruse out on pit road himself. As top 6 still in the lead lap. You've got 2 laps over the rest of the field.
And Corey Brown coming in again to repair some more damage to that number 99 Coca-Cola Chevrolet.
Tough night for a lot of these drivers here tonight.
It certainly has been. We mentioned it again right at the very top of the broadcast, how these cars really make you work to begin with, and this track really makes you work, even in the newer up-to-date cars, and still just you combine the two and it makes for a very long night for some people. And we've seen that for a lot of guys here tonight.
Big momentum shift for the battle behind the top 3. Jeremy Johnson has beaten Tim Marlowe by a considerable margin out of pit road. Fortunately for Marlowe, we are still under caution, so he will get that gap back down again. But Chuck Sweeting, you've got to think he's the favourite for this one. Still got a clean car at this point. That's a pretty shocking thing.
Yeah, definitely. As you start to see the sun actually starting to go down here at Darlington, and if you've watched any real-life racing at Darlington, once we get into this twilight hours, the sim right now has the race at 1700 hours, so 1734 is the sim time, and the time is sped up times 2. So twilight is definitely approaching here. And as I was saying, if you watched any form of twilight racing here at Darlington, you know that sun gets really bad going into turn 3, and that is simulated almost too well here in iRacing.
Yeah. So they've got the sun down a bit too well on this, because it does glare you coming out through certain corners. I remember doing the Indy 500 a couple of months ago, and they had the sun through turn 4, and every time I went through turn 4 it was just blinding me.
And, one thing I'm looking at here, Nathan Rue has either gotten a penalty or he has elected to start way at the back, as I believe we're going green this time. We are. So Nathan Rue currently sits in 6th, is going to start at the very tail end of the field behind Victor Jennings in the number 11 Budweiser car. Rue is on the lead lap, starting on the inside. So the top 5 that you see on the outside are on the lead lap, plus Nathan Rue, who is, I would assume, elected to start at the tail end of the longest line.
Yeah, and in order to get up to the back of Corey Brown, Nathan Rue has got to get around Victor Jennings, Kevin Turcotte.
A big jump from Chuck Sweeting as he started way early, and probably a benefit for the top 5 that he did start so early, because all 5 of the top 5 cars are clear of the lappers going into turn 1.
And the last one in that top 5 is Corey Brown. He's currently looking to the back of Tim Marlowe. Doesn't look like Corey Brown has lost any speed despite that big hit he had to bring out this caution, as here comes Brown.
Seth Schultz is on the inside for the lead, as Chuck Sweeting is now going to have that line that drove him crazy trying to pass Nathan Rue. Has got that outside. He's able to keep it, but that 27 looking really strong here in the early going of this run.
Oh, Schultz getting a bit sideways.
Wow, a big slide from the 27. Corey Brown has dispatched of Tim Marlowe, so he is up into 4th. Setting his sights on Jeremy Johnston.
Yeah, and Nathan Rue has not dispensed of any of that, barely anybody in that lap train there, as he's coming up to Jared Brown next. He's still got to get around Alan Pajari, and I believe that is Tim Marlowe just ahead of Pajari, so
he has only passed Bruce Pearson Victor Jennings and Turkett. As there's somebody spinning, it's the 2 of Jarek Brown, and the caution is going to come out.
Yeah, caution will come out, and looks like his car was stuck on that transition for a short while. He's got it going again. Let's take another look and see what happened to...
It's loose in the middle of the corner, and wow, Nathan Rue. My goodness, he was lost. I think that's worthy of an in-car shot.
Yeah, let's
on
take
that
a...
replay there for Nathan Rue is, my goodness gracious. Hands were working inside that number 25 Folger Chevrolet as well.
Take a look at it as we go on board with Nathan Rue. I can see there. Oh, Jarek Brown. And you can't get any closer than that. I'm going to give you another example here because this is even closer. We're going to go on the left front of the car.
It's incredible. It's a game of inches. It really is. Sometimes you win it, sometimes you lose it.
Yeah,
as we were showing those replays, Nathan Rue and Corey Brown have both come into the pits. Both have taken a set of tires. So they are, I believe, both of them are on their final set. Meanwhile, the top 4 of Jeremy Johnston, Tim Marlowe, Seth Schultz, and Chuck Sweeting all still have a set left.
Yeah, so Sweeting, Schultz, Marlowe up to 3rd place. Rue in P4. And like I said, the driver's taking on new tyres there. Corey Brown. Jeremy Johnston up to the top 5 now, and he didn't stay in front of Tim Marlowe for long, did he?
Oh, he did not. I'm not sure as to why. He's also let Nathan Rue go by, and I'd be interested to see if he's going to allow Corey Brown to do the same, as Brown is still behind that 75. Really no fear for position for any of these guys, as they are 2 laps clear of both Alan Pajari and Kevin Turkett, who both just got waiver rounds. So they might just, now they're just 1 lap clear of Pajari and Turkett. Bruce Pearson is 4 laps down, running in 9th. So the top 6, I mean, barring another caution, and we've got 15 laps to go in this race. Barring another caution, the top 6 are pretty well set, barring catastrophe.
Yeah. And all of those top 6 have damage on the car, apart from Chuck Sweeting, who, like I mentioned before, still has pretty much a clean car. He did kindly scrape the wall earlier on in the race, but that doesn't seem to have done any damage on his car because that car still looking pretty out there.
And now just a slight little rub as lights are still on the safety car. So we will be doing at least 1 more lap behind it as we get set to go green. So again, it's Chuck Sweeting, Seth Schultz, Tim Marlowe, Nathan Rue, Jeremy Johnston, and Corey Brown, the top 6 and the only cars on the lead lap. Alan Pajari and Kevin Turkett given waiver rounds. They are both now 1 lap down, and will start at the tail end of the longest line, which will be that inside line. Beyond that, it is Bruce Pearson and Victor Jennings rounding out the top 10. Bobby Everhart, Marcus Wilkie, Jarek Brown, who is now in pit lane. I believe Wilkie is the last car running on track right now, 6 laps down in the 12th position. Jarek Brown, John Schultz, Gil Gawk, Dale Robertson, and Randall Falks are either retired or have been in the pit lane for an extended period of time.
Yeah, especially Dale Robertson has been in the is 64 laps down now and still sitting there in pit road as the lights are off on the pace car again, and Chuck Sweeting going to lead them back to green here with 13 laps to go. So it's coming down to crunch time here, Frank.
It certainly is, and the gloves are going to be off. We saw it at the restart with the 27 of Schultz. That last time through, the question is going to be, is Chuck Sweeting going to give that big jump start again? And if so, will Schultz be ready for it? I would have to assume, as now all of the lead lap cars electing to start on the outside lane, and Victor Jennings in the 11 giving a little bit of room to the top four. He's not up to the front of the queue where he would normally be. Waiting on the restart, 13 laps to go here at Darlington, and there goes the 54 of Chuck Sweeting. The 28 of Tim Marlowe peels off to the side to allow Nathan Rue to go through. But Rue still battling, and there he goes. So Nathan Rue back up into the top three.
Yeah, so, and Marlowe under pressure now from Jeremy Johnson as he come out of turn two. And Corey Brown right there as well.
Corey Brown going to pick up the pieces, and Brown has been quicker than these two all race long, so you would have to assume he's going to dispatch of this group here rather quickly as he looks to try to get back up to the front. Already 2 seconds the gap between Sweeting and Corey Brown, but it's not nearly as much. Back to Seth Schultz, who is right on him going into turn three. He's actually going to take a look down low in the middle of 3 and 4. Can he hold the corner? No, he cannot, coming out of turn 4.
Chuck Sweeting living to fight another day. And I'm watching for Nathan Rue because he seems to have repaired that car enough to get some speed underneath it at least now.
And
just as I say that, he hits the wall again.
Just a little tiny tap from the number 25. And also remember, he is on fresher rubber than both of these two up front. And you can see he is using it to full advantage as we have 10 laps to go here at Darlington. Question is going to be, how quickly can Rue dispatch of the 27 and then set his sights on Chuck Sweeting, who's gotten already a half a second away from the 27 of Schultz.
Yeah, as Schultz really doing everything he can to hold Rue behind him, but it's going to be inevitable if Rue can get a good run coming out of turn 4. It doesn't look like he can. He's going to have to stay behind the 27 for the time being, as we're now 9 laps to go. Remember, this series being sponsored by Summit Sim Racing.
Oh, ruined the wall again out of 2.
Oh. And yeah, this race and league being brought to you by Summit Sim Racing. Make sure you check them out and see what they have on offer. But yeah, this race comes to its conclusion as caution is out again. And I think it was Kevin Turcotte.
I was just looking through, and yeah, Turcotte's got some damage on the right front. And yes, it was. It was him and Pajari fighting for position, those two. Coming out of 2, Turcotte hits the wall, Pajari hits the wall, and then Pajari hits Turcotte. Down the straight away.
Another look at that as they come out of turn 4. Yeah, Turcotte hitting the wall. And this difficult couple of races for Turcotte is really hurting him. He was the points leader coming into Michigan last week and lost that immediately to Chuck Sweeting. And this lead that Chuck Sweeting has now will only strengthen his stranglehold on that championship lead as things stand right now. But with 8 laps to go, it's still anybody's game here, Frank.
Definitely, and it's not even going to be 8 laps to go. We could possibly see a restart with 5 laps to go. And again, the fact that we are running by 1987 NASCAR rules means that there are no green-white checkers.
Oh, there are. That's the only one they did keep.
Or I could just sound like a complete total spanner and just, you know.
You said it the British way.
Only been yeah. Well,
You said spanner instead of wrench. That's cool.
thank you can thank Top Gear for that. Um,
Uh,
so now I not further make a rear end of myself. How many green white checkers are there, Sam?
I have no idea. Check the info.
Oh, professional broadcasting at its finest, right here.
Yeah, when the person that's supposed to be leading the broadcast is high on Solpadol, he just doesn't care anymore.
Well,
I'm joking to everyone that's
know.
watching. But yeah, it's they do definitely have green white checkers. So
I'm not seeing a green white checkered thing
Oh.
on the race info in iRacing. So, not seeing that there isn't any. I'm also not seeing that there is. So there's that. So to re-rack, as we will be starting this race with at least 4 laps to go. Chuck Sweeting in the lead in that number 54 Jersey Chevrolet. Followed by the number 27 Briag Ford of Seth Schultz. Nathan Ruse, number 25 Folger Chevrolet. In third, Jeremy Johnston was able to fend off the 99 of Corey Brown. He holds fourth. Corey Brown in fifth. And Tim Marlowe, who I believe came into pit under this caution flag, because he is now at the tail end of the line, is in sixth, the last car on the lead lap. The two that were involved in the last wreck, Alan Pajari and Kevin Turkett, and Turkett being on pit road right now, are both 1 lap down, so those are the only two that are going to be battling for the 7th position. Bruce Pearson has locked himself into 9th. Victor Jennings is going to be fighting with Bobby Everhart to see who's going to be the last car in the top 10.
And it'd be good for Victor Jennings to get in the top 10. He's had a very, very poor start to the season, and for him to get a top 10 out of this race would be a big achievement for him, especially after the horrid start he's had so far. So good to see him up there, but at the same time he has been capitalizing on a lot of names dropping out of this one. Jarrett Brown, John Schultz, Gil Cork, Dale Robertson, and last week's winner, Randall Fox. That was the biggest shock of the night. Fox retiring early after pretty much putting on a clinic last week.
Yeah, that, and he looked like he was picking up right where he left off last week. He had a fantastic car tonight. And unfortunately, one of those self-inflicted errors that we see all too often, and that put him on the hauler within the first 25 laps of this race. As we're waiting to see what happens with the safety car.
Lights should go off this time.
Yep. Lights are off of the safety car, so we will have a 3-lap shootout here to see who is going to win round number 5 of this Die Hard Racing Series season.
Yeah, as if you don't know what 3 laps is, it's green, white, checkered. It's not green, white, checkered because you've got 1 lap extra, so...
Yes.
But if I have to pick a rank outsider here, and this is a pretty big shot in the dark, Jeremy Johnston might have an advantage here. If he can get this restart right.
I mean, I could see the top 3 getting a little bit eager. He does have to try to hold off that 99 of Corey Brown, however. Brown has been quick once he gets that car going. Getting it going has been one story, but after he gets it going, he's been rolling fine. Lap cars have filed in behind the top 6. So the top 6 are on the outside. Green flag is back in the air. Chuck Sweeting takes them down. 3 laps to go here at Darlington. And already Corey Brown with a big move. He's trying to attack Rue for 3rd.
And contact!
Oh, they were beating and banging the entire...
Oh, and they go around, and Corey Brown's going to be Oh no!
Caution comes out. Off the Victor Jennings. No.
Oh, Victor Jennings. Oh, and he came right in front of him.
Yeah, with the 99 spinning across the track, Victor Jennings had nowhere to go.
And if that one wreck wasn't enough to end his race, I'm pretty sure this one's going to end Brown's race now.
It's ended his hopes for winning. I think that's for certain. But he made one heck of a move. Going down the inside of Johnston at the start. He actually got a good start. Goes to the inside of Johnston on the start and has the inside of Rue going into turn one. You want to talk about letting it hang out. Boy, oh boy, Corey Brown let it hang out on that start.
Yeah, and the reason why Corey Brown's been so desperate to make his way back to the front is the fact that every race he's entered in so far this season, he's been on the podium. So looks like that streak might be broken here tonight now.
Unfortunately, is seeing through race control.
Oh, there is no green, white checkers. This is it. The race is over.
There it is.
So Chuck Sweeting is going to pick up his first race win of the season and strengthen his hold on that championship lead. Remember, there is no playoffs in this one. It is all based on points finishes. So Sweeting really putting himself in the catbird seat with this victory here tonight, Frank.
I'm going to be honest, I didn't see a white flag come out, so I'm not holding my breath on that. But what I was going to say was Alan Jari has been given a black flag, and Bobby Everhart has had a black flag cleared. Not sure what that was about.
That's under the discretion of the race controller, Art Peck, who's up in that race control booth. So that's at his discretion.
I'm not sure what he saw that we apparently missed. But Alan Pajari getting a black flag. Everhart having one cleared.
Checker flag is out.
The line.
The checker flag in the air. The race is over. Chuck Sweeting, your winner here at Darlington. Seth Schultz will claim second place. Nathan Rue put a couple of bad weeks behind him. Now he gets the last step on the podium. And Jeremy Johnston went away with P4 at the end of that. Great run for him here tonight. And Tim Marlowe getting the top 5 out of this as well.
Yes, he did. And Corey Brown will round out the lead lap cars. And we will get to Nathan Rue, Seth Schultz, and Chuck Sweeting here in just a moment. As they come around, we'll let Chuck Sweeting celebrate a little bit before we bring him up into the booth. So, as you mentioned, a race finishing under caution. So I was right. No green, white checkers here for the Die Racing Series, and there is your winner.
Nobody likes a smart ass, Frank.
Yeah, well, no one likes to be lied to when they're doing a broadcast, so. There's Chuck Sweeting burning it down at the start-finish line. As we will try to get the top 3 in here as quickly as we can.
Yeah, and there is Chuck Sweeting at the line, your winner here at Darlington. Let's start, I think, with the interviews. Let's start from third to first, shall we? So
I would agree with that.
So we're going to bring Nathan Rue up, and Frank, I believe you got him there now.
Yes, I do. Nathan Rue, third place finisher. You hear us?
Yes, sir. I got you.
So I want to go back to you getting past for the lead. Did you feel a bump, or was that just close racing and just a slight little mistake between you and Chuck?
That's just Darlington. I mean, we had a good car. We got tight in the middle of the run, but we knew it was really good long run. We got some speed, and we fended them off on the top, several times. But eventually, you play with Darlington like that's going to get you. I don't know if it's net code or whatever. Me and Chuck always race really good, and he had a fast car, so congratulations to him on that win. He deserved that. But yeah, it felt like he might have got into me a little bit there. I tried to give him as much as I could and keep working that top, but regardless, we fought back from a speeding penalty after that, which I can't understand. The tack was at the right place, but we fought back. We got the third. We'll take it here. Car was really good, so we'll just keep that going.
Another pole. You've been dominant and just incredibly quick this entire season. We go to the road course at Watkins Glen next. You think you can keep it up?
Yeah, I hope so. Watkins Glen's one of my favorite tracks, and the guys at Summit, all the guys, John, Tim, Jeremy, Randall, everybody that runs with us, they all put in a big effort to help these things get fast. And we lost it with that first build a little bit, but I feel like we've really got a handle on the car back now. We're understanding the changes in the package again. So, yeah, I love Watkins Glen. I can't wait to get there. That's one we circled on the calendar, so looking forward to that.
And all the races that you've been so quick at that you haven't circled on the calendar, I'm very interested to see at a track you did circle. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go and celebrate your third place?
Yeah, you guys at ESBN, y'all do such a good job in putting this on. Summit Sim Racing, all the guys, such good racing. I mean, even at Darlington, you had a few cautions there, but that was a great race. A lot of clean, good racing out there, and just a lot of fun.
All right, Nathan Rue, your third place finisher. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
That was Nathan Rue joining us in the booth there, and joining me now will be our second place finisher. Sorry, Seth, to interrupt you there. Second place on the night didn't come without its issues, though. A bit of a tough one around the Lady in Black tonight.
Yeah, it is what it is. We all got our stripes, I think, but I mean, I had fun. I started off the night a little too tight, and it showed. It was burning up the right front, so made some adjustments and made it better. And then we got to change it one more time there I didn't know we were gonna have a bunch of cautions, but got to change it there before we had that series of cautions, and then it was good to go. Chuck was fast all night. Nathan was fast all night, but Chuck seemed to have the better, longer run and setup of everybody, from what I could tell. And I would have liked to have stayed green there till those last 3 laps. We could have been banging doors, I think, coming through the corners, but it was still a good race for me.
Yeah, it looked like you had a bit of pace left in that car. It looked like you got it fixed up just in time for the end of the race there, and it looked like you were trying to reel Chuck back in there, but on the long run pace, it was just the fact that Chuck was able to get away and then Rue was able to get onto the back of you there. Was your car struggling for long run pace here tonight?
Yeah, we missed the setup a little bit. I mean, I think if we'd have not started out so tight, I was expecting it to be a little looser, a little bit longer. So I tightened it up a little bit before the race, and that was a bad idea. And so we paid the price early, and then we were able to get back with it again there in that second run. And then we still needed a little bit looser. And so, but we just missed it. We missed when they came out with that update and changed the axle in the rear, we didn't quite nail it good enough.
All right, well, looking ahead to next week, we are off to our first road course of the season with Watkins Glen. What do you reckon you can do around there?
If I still had my provisional, I'd use it. I'm just going to finish the race, hopefully. Other than that, I'm not the greatest road course racer known to man. I know when we practiced way back before the season started, we hit the Glen, and I know Nathan was faster with just the baseline setup. So it'd be interesting to see who does what come next Thursday.
All right, Seth, and before I let you go and celebrate, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
You guys, as always, for broadcast. I know we had a number of guys that couldn't make tonight. Sucks for Brad with his power supply taking a dump on him, and also we had a couple guys on vacation, a couple guys that decided not to race it for whatever reason, and then Gwen's power was out, so he wasn't able to make it till right after the race started. So thank everybody that shows up week in and week out. We're got to get this wave around thing fixed. We're still having issues, but other than that, thanks Summit Racing for sponsoring the series, and see you guys all next week.
All right, that's Seth Schultz in the number 27 Kodiak machine. Coming up in second place. See you next week when we head to the Glen.
All right, man. Sounds good.
That was our second place finisher there. Frank, we have one more driver to bring to you now, and that will be one Mr. Chuck Sweeting. I'm going to try and drag him up here once I figured stuff out. No, that's not it. That's it. There we go. Right, and Frank, you're with our race winner now.
Chuck Sweeting, Mike Marchese, ESPN. Do you hear me?
Hey Frank, how's it going?
Boy, you certainly had the car tonight. Not just the race win and extending that race win, extending your points lead. I'm sure this is about as well as Darlington could have gone for you.
Yeah, the only thing that could have been better was be to lead the most laps, but I couldn't pass Nathan the first half of that race. We were so even and so close. I was a little bit better than him, but just not good enough to get by him cleanly. But yeah, I spent a lot of time working on the setup this week, and it paid off. It was well worth the effort.
How hard is it to pass on the inside? We saw it throughout the race, and just trying to explain it sometimes doesn't do it justice as compared to someone who's actually going through it. How difficult and frustrating is it to know you have a faster car, but because you're stuck on that inside line, that you just cannot seem to get around?
Yeah, this track is very deceiving from a spectator standpoint because it looks so wide, but the actual racing groove is not very wide and becomes even more narrow on the exit of the corner. So it's extremely hard to pass. It usually takes a lot of give and take. But obviously when you're leading, you don't want to give up. So I certainly don't hold that against Nathan. But yeah, it's tough and unless you just get a super big run coming off the corner, it can completely clear him before you get to the next corner. It's real tough. It's one of the toughest places to pass on that we go to.
Now, these things are hard enough to handle going left. Now, next week, you're going to have to go left and right at Watkins Glen as we go to our first road courses series. You excited going into that race as the points leader?
I'm looking forward to it as much as I can be for a road course. Watkins Glen is one of the few road courses that I like, and I have run a couple of races there in this car, but in the fixed setup, and it actually is a lot of fun. It's pretty stable, and I've got an awesome teammate in Gil Gawks who will probably be the guy who builds the setup. We each kind of built our own setup this week for Darlington, and I ran mine, he ran his. I think he had some bad luck, got caught up in a wreck, but I'm going to have to rely on him big time for Watkins Glen, and because he's real life road got a lot of real life road racing experience. So, but the car's a lot of fun there, and it's pretty exciting to watch a race. So hopefully the fans will enjoy it.
All right, any shout outs you want to give before we let you go celebrate?
Just thanks to the league, all the admins and everything, as well as Summit Sim Racing for sponsoring, and for you guys for the awesome broadcast. Can't wait to watch the replay.
All right, thank you very much. Your winner tonight, Chuck Sweeting. Congratulations.
All right, thanks a lot.
And that right there will put a capper on a rather quick night here at Darlington Raceway. What we're just going back through the race, we had so much happen. Randall Falks, quick, early, makes a mistake, done for the night. Dale Robertson started up in the top 5, makes a mistake, he's done. Gil Gawk caught up in just an unfortunate incident. And then we had that one long green flag run. So we had a little bit of everything tonight at the track Too Tough to Tame.
Yeah, and it's just the Lady in Black showing the true colours yet again here, and it's proved that it's a very difficult track to negotiate. I mean, we saw early on in the race, Chuck Sweeting, he may have had the faster car, but he found it incredibly hard to get around Nathan Rue, and he needed that mistake from the 25 to get around him. Other mistakes happening, obviously people getting their Darlington stripe, as it is famously known, and yeah, it's basically the toughest one out here tonight, and the toughest person happened to be Chuck Sweeting tonight.
It did. And before we close up shop here tonight, let's go through the finishing order, the official finishing order for this race tonight. Chuck Sweeting, as we mentioned, comes home the victor and extends that points lead that he has going into Watkins Glen next. On the grid will come home and finish 4th. Tim Marlowe finishing 5th. Corey Brown rounding out the lead lap cars, finishing 6th. could have been a little bit better if it wasn't for that crazy restart he had, and as Sam mentioned before, losing that podium streak that he had for the first 4 races this season. Alan Pajari, the first of the 1 lap down cars, coming home in 7th. Kevin Turkett coming home in 8th. Bruce Pearson, 4 laps down, finishes 9th. Victor Jennings rounding out the top 10, 5 laps down. Sam.
Bobby Everhart coming home in P11, 5 laps down as well. Marcus Wilkie getting P12 here tonight. Jarrett Brown on his debut getting P13. Getting ahead of John Schulte, who's P14. 15's going to Gil Gork, 16's going to Dale Robertson, and running out your field of 17 was last week's winner. Big shock early on in this race. Randall Folks, the first man on the hauler, and that is your field of 17 here tonight, Frank.
Yes, that is, and that will do it for us here at Darlington Raceway. For Sam Cooper Bennett, I'm Frank Marchese. Happy birthday, Marty Hazen. We will see you here next week for Watkins Glen, round number 6 of the Die Hard Racing Series. Thank you very much for joining, and we will see you right here next Thursday on ESPN.
Have a good night.